Right, Alberto, up to you. Thank you very much for joining us from a very warm Italy, dry Italy. Right.
Yes,
thanks.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you, everyone. I'm really happy to be here, and it's a pleasure for me to present my understanding about the CANBUS system and the way to detect it. You can see my presentation now?
Yes,
Simon. Okay,
perfectly.
Thank you. So the outline of my presentation will be a little bit of background about the CANBUS network and the related SAE J1939. And after that, we will talk about a little bit about data acquisition, data storage, and data transference process of the CANBUS data. What is a CANBUS is simply let's say a network of all the ECUs of the machine. The CANBUS has, of course, a standard, a UNI and ISO standard, and the related SAE J1939. And we have a lot of technical knowledge and information on it, but of course, is too much technical for this presentation. Let's say that, of course, the CANBUS network has a speed that typically can runs from 2050 kilobits per second to 500 kilobits per seconds. What about the data acquisition? Of course, the CANBUS network is has a huge amount of data that runs inside the machine when the machine is on. And let's say that we can record at every information. So let's say, for example, the engine speed, the fuel consumption, well speed, the position of the machine, if the machine has their own GPS sensoring, with over 50 Hertz of data acquisition. The good point of this system is that we use that system in listen mode. So what is the difference between a normal car and a heavy duty vehicle is that we don't need to send message to the echoes of the machine to receive information. With this data logger, we can simply record in a listen mode, so let's say passive way, all the information that runs through the CAN network. So we can record all the traffic inside the network. Of course, one of the disadvantage of this method is that we can, as in South Africa happens, we need a DBC file. So, for example, we try with, for example, Komatsu, with John Deere, with Ponce, and we are able to detect the information. But for example, for different machine, if we don't have a DBC file, that is a database that contains all the information, all the instruction to convert the signals from the bit, so from the number, simple, the bit information to human readable information. If we don't have this kind of file, we cannot understand what the information, what is the meaning of that information. So during my PhD, I set up let's say a portal to record the information. It's a portal over the air. So it's a portal that is able to receive the data using a SIM card with traffic data. Of course, an internet connection is needed. So simply from the machine, we can send the information to the cloud. And then using a code, we can understand what the information mean, and we can, let's say, plot some graphs or see where the machine is, a lot of information. What is the difference between this portal and the portal that are now used by all the forest machine? Is that, of course, this is a research purpose, so we can store the data with a high quantity, high frequency data, so a lot of information for every second. That is not possible for a normal machine because of problems about storage and something like that. They, of course, decided to use only an average or few points, few information. I will present 3 different methods to understand what the DBC file, what the CANBUS data meaning. These 3 different methods are independently one to each other, and I use these 3 methods every time because let's say that this first one is a method that are usable for example, to understand if our machine that we are using is working. So we are able to detect the raw data, and we are able to apply our DBC file, and to see if we can extract the CANBUS signal. For example, here I want to focus on a practical things. For example, John Deere, it depends a lot on the different model and the machine and different machines. For example, from here we can see that we are able only to see 31 to 61 ED file. ED is meaning for information. So we can, for example, read only the information from engine and not from the oil pump or from the joystick of the machine. It's meaning that the John Deere decided to block this parameter. In the most of cases, this parameter, this unknown parameter, is not really important for my point of view, for example, because I'm interested in the general parameter about engine, so fuel consumption, engine speed, position of the machine, percent torque of the engine, and something like that. That is really general, and the John Deere decide to leave it open. That is the first method, and the way to detect, to load, of course, the raw data, the DBC file, and to see the output. So the way to see the data. This is all the parameters that we can read. Of course, we can read a lot of information. We can see in the bottom all the information about the joystick position and the pedal position, for example. And we can try to plot and to see if we can read or not. So we can see or not the data. This is, of course, one of the methods. Is really easy. We can use to also print out as a CSV file the output and visualize the data that we can convert in a easy way later. We can see the easy way, let's say. Of course, we can. It's really a semi-automatic conversion because we cannot decode all the data. This method is really not complex, but takes a long time. Second method is a Python script. So it's a code that I use to automatize the code. and upload the data to the cloud. So simply, first step, the way that we saw before, only to check if we are able to download and see the data. This method is usable, is really, let's say, good for automatize our process to download, convert, and see the information. It's a normal code. If you need it, if you want it, I can share it with you. Of course, we don't have a data visualization, so without the output, so before the output, we cannot see what the information mean. Of course, this method have a lot of pros and only one cons for my point of view. Last methods is the really automatized methodology. As I say before, is not the three method totally independent one to each other, is, let's say, consequent. So first one, second one, third one, the last one that we can use to let's say remove a lot of effort to go in the field, record the data, see what the machine do. After the first training, the first trial, and the first data collection of the machine, we can use this method to acquire the information and automatically upload the information to in this case, I use an Amazon server, 100% free cloud. Then Influx Data, that is another portal. I don't want to talk a lot about the portal and the information. Let's say that we use three different portals, one to store the data, another one to store the converted data, and the last one to see the data store and the last portal. What important meaning? This is an example of the same John Deere of before. It's a forwarder. We can see here the position. Of course, all this graph is totally built by myself. So you can easily change the parameters, change the way to visualize the data, or do whatever you want. So we can see, for example, zoom in, and we can see that zooming in also the maps react and zoom in on all the data that we can see in the graph. We can see that when the machine goes to moderate slope, increase the engine speed, then the machine will reach the loading site, load the loads, then start to go down to the forest road here. And then we see here that we have an increase of engine speed. This is our first results, let's say, because why in a really flat forest road we can have an increase of engine speed and fuel consumption and fuel rate and torque? Because, for example, after a while, we understand that John Deere use, of course, an hydrostatic way to move the machine and to move the crane. So in that case, when the machine move the crane and in the meantime move the wheels, the engine go. We have a lot of increase of fuel rate and engine load because of the pressure of the oil pump. So this is a simple way, really automated data visualization. We can interact with the different graph dynamically. We can add the different sensor to see, I don't know, the inclination of the machine. So it's easy, really easy, and we can build our own, let's say, portal with the data that we are looking for or we need. So we have these different, these three different methodology. We need, of course, internet connection. So we need a 4G SIM card with a Wi-Fi connection, or a Wi-Fi connection to upload the data to the portal. And all it's done. So it's really simple. It's really easy to decrypt and unlock the CANBUS data and visualize what the machine do during the work, or when the machine move. Or, for example, we can build our own code to see the number of how much the machine work outside, inside the stand, outside the stand, what is the influence of the breakdown in our case. So we can go further and do whatever we want with the raw data that we have. So thank you for your attention, and of course, if you have any question or any question that you want to do, I'm here. Thank you.